And 12 years on, I'm visiting Julian in a high security prison. But this period of our lives, I'm confident now, has come to an end. And I think that by this time next week, Julian will be free.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the infamous WikiLeaks whistleblower Julian Assange finally being freed from prison after nearly 15 years of back and forth. First, he was in Ecuador and they granted him asylum. Then that asylum was revoked, I believe, in 2019. Then he had to go to prison in UK. And now he's being freed and allowed to go back home to Australia. At least that's what they say. Now, I say finally, it's been a long time coming. He should have been freed a long time ago. Now, before we get to some news clips and whatnot, let me just tell you about Julian Assange briefly. Basically, what he did was reveal U.S. military secrets to the general public, like how civilians were getting drone strikes, and then we tried to cover it up. Things like that. A whole lot of things. And then there were other players involved. You have Edward Snowden involved because Julian Assange was trying to help him to escape U.S. authorities. That's how I believe he wound up in Russia. Then you have the whole Chelsea Manning thing because I forget what Chelsea Manning's name was before the transition, but I think Chelsea Manning is a person that was an intelligence analyst with the government, and that's how some of the original footage was given to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks publishes it, and the U.S. is like, oh, you can't do stuff like that. You're revealing secrets, and you are putting out lists of unredacted names of Afghan nationals. You're doing all kind of crazy stuff. So now, after all of that, he is finally being freed and sent back to his native Australia. Now, before we go any further, let's get into a news clip. Then we're going to get into a few secrets that WikiLeaks has revealed over the years, which is why, in my humble opinion, a man like this should not be in the penitentiary. He should be protected by whistleblower status, and he should be seen as a hero. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Today, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is out of prison, departing the UK overnight in this video released by his organisation. It comes after the US Justice Department announced the apparent plea deal with Assange, allowing him to plead guilty to a single count of conspiracy to obtain and disseminate classified national security information.
Now, one thing about it, it's unfortunate he has to admit to wrongdoing here. Also, this is a very interesting time to do this. Could this be the Biden administration trying to buy some votes? I mean, because why do this right now? This has been going on for the better part of 15 years. So why do this right now? I don't really know, but let's keep on going.
According to federal court documents, he's expected to return to his native Australia with credit for time served, more than 5 years in a British prison. WikiLeaks posting on social media, Julian's freedom is our freedom. Assange's wife reacting to the news overnight, speaking to the BBC.
It's a whirlwind of emotions. I mean, I'm just elated. Feels like it's not real.
The deal stems from one of the worst leaks of classified material in US history back in 2010.
The real story of this material is that it's war. It's one damn thing after another.
WikiLeaks published nearly 500,000 secret military documents, including this 2007 video of an Apache helicopter killing civilians in Iraq.
So that right there, that's one of the worst things that you may have seen about some of these files, drone strikes from, innocent civilians. And this is what I'm talking about right now with the whole Israel kerfuffle, that whole situation. It's like, all right, I understand we have war going on, but must you drone strike civilians?
In Iraq. The US government says Assange conspired with Chelsea Manning, an army intelligence analyst with a top secret security clearance, to disclose those classified documents starting in late 2009.
And of course, at the time, this person was not named Chelsea. This is clearly a transformer.
Manning was sentenced to 35 years in a military prison, but President Barack Obama commuted her sentence before leaving office in 2017. Assange previously denied any wrongdoing and had been fighting extradition to the US while in British custody.
I ask you all to shout louder, lobby harder, until he is free.
While Assange's supporters have hailed him as a whistleblower, even a folk hero, some intelligence analysts say Assange did untold damage to US national security.
Julian Assange did the wrong thing. Julian Assange hurt the United States government. He put the lives of our troops in danger. He put the lives, particularly of Iraqi citizens who had helped our effort in the war in Iraq, in danger. So this guy did a lot of bad things.
Now let's pause right there. Now that is an argument because some of the documents that were published through WikiLeaks did not have redacted names and it should have been, and you put in Afghans and Iraqis and whatnot who helped us in danger. But let's just keep everything in focus. The government, the US government, was doing the wrong thing to begin with. So to just lay that at the feet of Julian Assange is unfair in my humble opinion.
So we saw that he pled guilty to one charge there, Keir. What do you know about the actual plea deal?
Yeah. Well, Hoda, the White House saying this morning that it had no involvement in this plea deal, which was announced by the Justice Department, and it has no connection to Julian Assange's involvement in the 2016 election when WikiLeaks released materials from the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton's election campaign. Julian Assange has never been charged in that case. Russian intelligence officials, Hoda, were indicted by the US. Hoda.
I mean, they shouldn't be charging anybody over that. What was that, the whole email thing, the bleach bit situation? It's like, why don't you just charge person that actually was involved with it? Charge Hillary Clinton and her people for setting up the email server and trying to hide things that way. I mean, come on. All right, so that's that. That's the situation there. But there's a few things we can just look at in this. We got a thread. I'm not going to be playing these videos, but you see what it says right here. He was 38 when WikiLeaks published Collateral Murder and was last a free man. He is 52 years old now. This video shows U.S. Army killing civilians, including 2 Reuters reporters. So you got journalists on assignment and the rescuers who were assisting the wounded. Reuters attempted to get the video, but the Pentagon refused to hand it over. The evidence of what had happened remained on U.S. military servers until intelligence whistleblower Chelsea Manning sent it to WikiLeaks. Okay, so that's how that whole thing happened. And then it says October 2016, Julian Assange passed a message to Mark Halperin for Showtime's The Circus, stating the U.S. media is underreporting everything about John Podesta emails released on WikiLeaks. And that's the whole thing with Hillary Clinton and the server and Uma Abedin and her freak husband. I forget his name. Y'all know I'm talking about. What was his name? Woody or Willie or something like that. I know I'm talking about. But anyway, Halperin passed a note to Assange, who was taking refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London at the time, asking what aspect of the Podesta emails the U.S. is underreporting. Everything. Let's keep on going. And this one says Assange famously exposed war crimes and warned the world of the elite in NATO. He exposed the massive taxpayer money laundering being done globally by warmongers in the government. Populations don't like to go to war, and populations have to be fooled into going into wars. This is a quote for him. Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Hamas. Does this make sense now? It absolutely does. And let me see. Did I get everything? I think I got everything right there. Oh, here's one more. Remember just 1 month ago, Tucker Carlson said the U.S. government is still trying to delete Edward Snowden. Just before that, Tucker said the CIA wanted to delete Assange. And now you see what's happening here. He's free. Julian Assange wasn't in prison for his own crimes, but for exposing the crimes of others. Correct. 20 years ago, George Bush and Tony Blair brazenly launched an illegal war in Iraq, leading to the senseless slaughter of 1 million innocent people. But that's that. There's more here, of course, but that's generally what's going on. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody involved with WikiLeaks. Some say that it could have been done better. Okay, retract some of those names of those who should be protected. These are not the wrongdoers. We need to be exposing the federales for what they have done rather than putting innocent people at risk. I understand that. But at the same time, let's focus on what needs to be focused on, which is the wrongdoings of the government. You're drone striking civilians. You're tricking us to get into war. You're reading our emails, spying on U.S. citizens. You're doing all types of things that you shouldn't be doing, violating our civil rights, violating our human rights. So WikiLeaks was really important and necessary to expose what's happening. And quite frankly, I think you're going to have a lot more data leaks, a lot more whistleblowers coming forward. We're seeing that right now with the whole Boeing situation. They coming forward, whistleblowing, and miraculously, a lot of these whistleblowers are popping up dead. I don't know why that's happening. Maybe it's a coincidence or maybe it's a conspiracy. I can't call it, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on Julian Assange finally being freed from a British prison and being allowed to go back home to Australia, although there's a plea deal that says he has to admit to some kind of guilt? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think it is about time. He should have been freed a long time ago. He shouldn't have even been in prison. I think those who were engaging in war crimes, who were spying on the American people, violating our civil liberties, violating our rights and the Constitution, I think they should be the ones in prison, not him. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.